The year is 1798, and beneath the unforgiving sun, the French have invaded the Mamluk kingdom. Their aim to secure wealth, knowledge, and to cut the British off from one of their key allies. However, Napoleon has awoken a sleeping tiger, the Ottoman Empire, which has recently modernised its army and plans to drive the French from their Holy Land. This is no ordinary campaign. Instead, the Ottomans will be commanded by Dan the Mantis, who has 6,000 hours in game and is the creator of this mod, FCN. I will have to use all my strategic knowledge to beat him back and secure a French victory in a deeply unfamiliar land. Hello everybody and welcome back to Napoleon Total War. I'm Tomek, and as many of you will know, I've been facing the legendary LeBron James of Napoleon Total War, Dan the Mantis, in his very own mod FCN 6.1. And we are coming to the end of the infamous, for the French at least, Peninsular campaign. We're going to drift back into the campaigns of Napoleon himself. Last time I beat Dan in the Italian campaign playing as the Austrians. This time I'm going to be playing as the French in the Egyptian campaign. I'm going to see if Dan can stand up to me as the Ottoman Empire. The reason why I'm making this video is, you know, I'm not with Dan right now. He is asleep, like the noob he is. We're going to check out the Egyptian campaign, at least the beginning of it. I'm going to leave it on relatively campaign difficulty. I think we both set it as normal just to make it fair for us. We're going to check out the campaign, do a little bit of scouting, a little bit of advanced guard action here. So cringe.
After taking Alexandria from the Mamluks, France must focus immediate attention on the Mamluk leader, Murad Bey, who will rally his troops at Cairo. Whilst the Ottoman military presence is not particularly strong in the Levant, be on your guard, as the High Port will surely send reinforcements from Anatolia and Greece. To make matters worse, the British have sent one of their most capable admirals, Horatio Nelson, to the eastern Mediterranean to block your escape routes.
Gosh, look at that navy, that's insane. Now, as you can see from the overview of the campaign map and what little resolution image I could find on the internet, the French seem to be relatively outnumbered by everybody on every side. We've got the British to the north, we've got the Mamluks and the Bedouins to the south, and we've got obviously the Ottomans to the east. And so you'd think that obviously this is the end of the campaign, not the beginning for the French, but the French have the advantage of having high quality European units and also an influx of cash from France initially, and also have the ability to strike quickly and take 4 key settlements from the Mamluks really early on. And what I'm going to be looking out for is any Ottoman incursions from Dan early on, especially naval invasions, because marching an army will take a long time for him to do, but sailing an army down is going to be his probable mode of transportation, and I can't actually intercept his fleet easily enough because the British have a huge mega fleet under Horatio Nelson out and around the Nile Delta, so it's going to be difficult for me to stop those invasions before they happen. The only way I'm going to be able to counter that is by having troops on standby in the regions I conquer. However, Dan's regions are also mostly concentrated on the coasts themselves, and therefore could be open to a counter naval invasion from me. But let's see how this first few turns go. We're going to be taking this run as if we were fighting Dan and planning our first moves. This is an open strategic workshop video, so I would love if you could leave your comments down below of any suggestions, tips or tricks that you've experienced whilst playing this campaign, and I will definitely be reading all of them and interacting with you all, so I look forward to reading those. But let's dive into this strategic campaign. Alright, well, starting out, interestingly, we don't really know the Ottoman positions because no one really plays the Ottomans, but we noticed from that quick flyover there, which is I left playing because I wanted to see where the Ottoman positions are. They started with some troops here and some troops here, and apparently they're going to get more troops or Nizam Saladit from Greece. But anyway, the French start off in a pretty good position. Historically, Napoleon went all the way down to Cairo, and then he sent a marshal down to capture Beni Suef and the other parts. Now, that's what you'd normally do in an Egyptian campaign. There is a time limit, obviously, but we're going to kind of scrap that for this playthrough because it's going to be a lot more difficult, I think. But you'll notice that these 3 towns here are undefended from Dan. Doesn't mean we're going to attack them, it just means that they are a little isolated from the rest of his forces, which could be a problem for him. Mamluks have got quite an isolated province over here, so he's not too threatened by anybody. In fact, I don't even know if they're at war or not with the British or anybody. I'm hoping that the Ottomans are at war with the British and they can't just sail troops down here. I think that's what Dan plans to do. Does he have any ports? Yeah, he has a port here, trading port, a dockyard. Yeah, he has ships then. Another trading port, harbour, no building. So he has a couple of options to build more ports as well. I reckon Dan's a sneaky little Scotsman and he's going to think, oh, Thomas will be so concentrated on the south and the Mamluks, which is obviously I'm going to have to be at some point. I'm just going to grab all my forces here, sell them down here and take Alexandria. That's a very sneaky plan. Now, I don't know how possible that is. Dan doesn't really have any other options apart from that anyway. He can go and take this town over here, but does he really need them? No. But what would absolutely kill me is a strike to hit Alexandria from turn 4 to 5. Can't have a navy to defend myself because the British, so we've got that to keep in mind. Just remember when you watch this and I make moves that you may not feel are particularly good, you've got to keep in mind that this is not a single player campaign. The Ottomans are not going to wait until you attack them. You might be able to capture Cairo before you see any Ottoman armies, but Dan is not going to just lay dormant for turns and turns. He's a lot more aggressive, I think, in this game. He's going to sail something down here, land an army, maybe even try and reinforce the Mamluks. I don't reckon he'll go for these territories. He might send one from, no, there's no point. It's so far out. What are our options? So we've got a little bit more of a tricky situation you might comprehend because we have a huge town here which we're obviously supposed to take. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 troops in it, including a Ottoman 9-pounder, which is kind of crazy. An FCN is going to have different units for all of these. You can see some of the units have already slipped in here. These are battalion of the chasseurs. These grenadiers are going to change. This 6-pounder foot artillery is going to definitely change to the FCN version. Only seems to be the chasseurs that are changed right now. I don't know what troops the Ottomans have because they're not actually a playable faction in 6.1. We need to take these 4 settlements as soon as possible. If we don't establish ourselves here and we go straight for Cairo, then we're leaving ourselves open to an attack from Dan before we're ready to take this. Because if we move our main army down to Cairo, right, take Cairo, that's great. But then we've got to contend with the fact that he may land troops here. I'm quite content with letting the AI build up around Cairo because the Mamluks aren't particularly dangerous. And I'm content with that. We might even try and get a battle of the pyramids. That would be insane. But I'm just worried that I'm going to get naval invaded by Dan. And I think that's a particularly relevant. If I spy here, instead of sending him down to Cairo and checking out the Mamluks, we can actually move him up here. Check out what's up here. Mamluks and like cavalry and peasant levy. Can we see what's up here? Okay, so this one's undefended. I'm assuming that's undefended as well. So we have 2 options really. We would take a lot of forces here and go and attack. I don't know how to even pronounce that. Damanawa. Let's call it a dam. We either go and take a lot of forces to attack here, or we send just these 5 and maybe a couple of artillery. I'm worried about this 9-pounder here, and especially what other units he has. Worried that we're not going to have enough to take it out. Let's have a look what we've got in here. To say. These guys are not going to be a problem. It's going to be, oh no, these guys will break if charged. Mamluks we can take care of with our infantry. But it's this 9-pounder that's going to be a problem. So the reason I'm not bringing my whole army down is because we need to start advancing on these other territories as soon as possible. We can hit any of these in turn. Let's go for Malhala first, I think. So we can kind of go 1, 2, 3 like that. Barracks wise, we don't really have a lot of infantry with it. I'm not sure how many we're going to add into the game here. We have got these Egyptian and the French line infantry, which is what we're going to rely on really. Then we need to probably increase our infantry capacity. That'll be our first move, I think. Let's see how this battle goes. AI is going to obviously play totally different to Dan, but I'm really looking to see how well this artillery performs against just these regular troops. Lovely open battlefield. It's going to be great for Dan's cavalry maneuvers, not so great for me. Although he'll be able to hide less. Got a Mamluks, which he can't hide, so that's good. Now, where would he put his artillery? Probably just here, right? No, there's a hill in the way. He might put it up here. Yeah, I think so. That's where I would deploy, but then I'm not Dan. He may deploy up here. Could be a good place for his artillery, but it's very exposed to any cavalry I've got. So yeah, I think here, place some militia behind this wall, gives them a better firing position. We can fire in 2 ranks, so it's probably best we keep them in 2. So we can format square easier if the Mamluks try and hit us. Do we want to take risks? No. But no, we need to stop taking silly risks. Let's see, where has he put his artillery? Where has the AI put the artillery? There's no map, which is always so helpful. I've got no flags, so let's just assume he's put his artillery there. And we'll attack it as if that's the location. So we've got a kind of ridge here, which helps us a little bit. We can't be seen by his artillery right now. In fact, all our units are completely invisible, but this is the obvious direction he would also come from. We're going to probably position ourselves behind this ridge here. Now, artillery is great, but the fact is, if he deploys up here, it's going to be very, very difficult for him to redeploy, especially if we attack the town. Oh no, for goodness sake. I hate the AI. That must be, well, 320 unit of armed populace. Dan is going to love that. Oh, we're just all deployed in the same position, idiots. No, no, please. Fight against the AI, they'll be really good. Let's just at least see how competent my men are against AI troops. Commanded by the AI at least. I can't believe that. See how easy it is to defeat these guys? It's just ridiculous. I think I can just charge it right now and just knock them all out. Peasant levy, for some reason, are in a relatively good formation here. And yet to see this Ottoman 9-pounder being active. This is not a bad position for it, but again, it's a little bit behind this ridge here, so it's going to be a little bit difficult to see. Armed populace, are they armed with muskets or swords? Oh, they're armed with swords. That's interesting. I'm going to form square. Nice charge on the Mamluks, actually. Run them into position now. So armed populace look dangerous. I don't think they'll be very good against cavalry. We're going to keep our general with us because Dan will definitely be trying to snipe. There we go. Let's charge with the cavalry here. I doubt they'll stand these armed populace yet with that wavering already. Dan will not be doing that, but as you can see, they're good, but they get broken very easily. See these fire-locked armed populace we've got to watch out for. And obviously the Mamluks as well. Our guys can put down a hail of fire on them, especially these light infantry. They're really working well. Let's get them in a better formation. Nice shots from the cavalry. They're already broken. Yeah, so the AI seems to have incredibly low morale for these guys, so they're not as dangerous as like a Bashi bazooks or anything like that. I'm not going to be playing this campaign all the way through. We're just going to be playing the first like 3 turns or so, just to give ourselves some idea. Oh, they're broken as well. Wow. So they're all broken. There's that 9-pounder. Can you please deploy so I can see how good you're going to be? Please. Again, the AI is not going to grace us with the deployment of their only good unit. What is going on here? This is ridiculous. Must be a bug or something, because there's no way that should be possible. Let's bring these guys forward. Now our light company can finish off the Cheshires. We just shot one of our own men, which I always love. Always love when that happens. Let's finish them off. Alright, let's see how much damage they can do to squares. Oh, quite a lot. Yeah, they've gone. Yeah. Easy to kill, very low morale. These guys got pretty good kills too, 204, and didn't get a single experience, which absolutely makes no sense. Let's just peacefully occupy it for now, and that's gonna be it. We're gonna have to leave some sort of militia garrison in there, and then it's gonna start to get a little bit weird. We have a theatre and a tax office, so nothing we can't upgrade. Cannon foundry, school of poetry, lovely. And this is a dockyard. What can we actually recruit here? Corvette, brig, and a sloop. Yes, we're really not doing well there. Ottoman 9-pounder again. Again, a really small garrison. We should be easily able to take out with this huge army.
For the gifted to study and advance the sum total of knowledge.
That is going to be interesting. Wow. So Napoleon. Ooh. Okay. Okay. Now, that is something Dan is not going to know about. We're going to be able to deploy against him and see his deployment every time.
Followers are the retainers.
Okay, Dan the Mantis, go away. Didn't know that's what the Mantis is for. We have an Aide de Camp and a hot air balloon. That's insanely powerful. This is the next battle. It's got a couple of Mamluks, a 9-pounder. Again, not too worried about it this time. I'm not sure how good that Ottoman 9-pounder actually is. What other generals do we have? Bezier, Marmont. Well, he did well last time, didn't he? We've got to think about, at this point, when we take this city, do we then split Napoleon off to go and take Zagzig down here? Or do we just move his whole army up? And maybe Dan would land forces, then then we'd be prepared. But Dan's going to know where we are. Right, that's another thing we've got to think about. Dan's going to know where we are on the campaign map because we're going to be taking settlements. We're not going to have any clue where he is because, you know, he doesn't have to tell it. The game doesn't tell us where he's moving troops. It only tells us when he takes settlements. So let's take a look at this settlement. Obviously, we're going to win this battle, I think, regardless of whether Dan plays it or not. Dan's not going to deploy out here. No way. Where would he put his 9-pounder? Don't think he put it up here because he knows he's going to get sniped by my more experienced guns. He could put it here. Looking down the street, that's very Dan. Back here. Because it's harder for me to hit with my guns, that's for sure. And you get some good canister. Could put it here. Looking this way. That way my guns can't hit it at all. And he's going to be able to get some good shots on me. As I come through with some canister, hopefully break my men. Where are we going to go to attack? This is kind of an interesting town because it has these two strange ridge lines either side. One over here and then one over here. Now we could attack it head on, but Dan's artillery would have a field day with us. We should attack one of the flanks. Okay, so yeah, we're going to attack it on his right, our left. And we're going to get our artillery into a good position. So it's going to be either the center, which could be a good one position, and then this flank here for a good second position. I think that's what we're going to do. 2 over here. And 1 here, I think. Yeah, we can always move these guys up as well. We don't have to stay here, which is why I've sort of moved these guys further around. Splitting artillery is good because it gives Dan less of a target with his 9-pounders, but it also means I have to devote more troops to defend them. And we're going to keep our cavalry in reserve so we can actually activate them if Dan uses his Mamluks. This is dangerous because Dan could rush us, but then we could easily turn his flank, so he doesn't really want to do that. I doubt he will. Let's keep his cavalry in the low ground down here so he doesn't know we're there. Can't target us. Alright. Again, I'm playing this as if I was playing against Dan, not the AI, which is difficult in itself. Feel free to, by the way, to offer suggestions down below. I will not take any offense. We're going to try and attack along this wall here. Should give us a little bit better of an angle, I think. Good. Charging their Mamluks at us. Come on, Ottomans, deploy your guns. Please. I want to see how much damage they do. Please deploy them. Got some defences here that Dan can deploy. Interesting. He's putting his Mamluks back again. Really low morale on everything. So they seem to be moving up pretty quickly. Maybe I shouldn't have done the flank thing. But it doesn't really matter now, does it? Dan's light cavalry really have a problem here, and that is the fact their morale is so bad that if they even get volleyed by anything... Ooh, that was a nice shot from the artillery. They're all out there. Pretty much already gone. Wow. One shot from artillery broke them, and then they just came back. Why don't they come back? Oh wow. This morale here is so bad that I don't even think I need to worry about a flank attack here. I might just go straight in. Yeah. I was expecting a little bit better from the Ottomans here. Not the Ottomans, the Mamluks, but I just don't think I need to worry that much about it because I routed them with a gunshot. In fact, I'm going to get attacked here by armed populace. It'd be interesting to see just how my men hold up against overwhelming odds here. How much damage this canister's going to do. Nice shots there. Yeah, canister came in, didn't quite do as much damage, they didn't quite crest that hill enough for the canister to hit them, but still more than capable. Yes. Remember to turn your dragoons fire will off. Unnecessary casualties here. And our Shashra al-Shaval try and get some experience for them. This is how we should wrap it up. I'm not going to attack from the flank. I think it's a mistake. I think we should just concentrate at the front. Just seeing how devastating we didn't even do that much damage with our infantry, and look how much. If we can get our cavalry into them before Dan is able to even use his Ottomans against us, we'll have some really experienced troops. We're going to peacefully occupy again. Maybe we should have taken the 5,000-6,000 from this one. I don't know how wise that would have been though. Let's keep recruiting. I think we're going to need some more cavalry. Scares horses. Interesting. Okay, so I think we need to get some of them. I don't think we need to get that many. We could have them in the rear of a cavalry engagement though and use that scare horse's ability. This is the town next to Cairo. I just got to think Dan pushes down this way. Could make this an economic city because it's kind of in the center. Or I kind of want to keep our economic cities down here. Cairo, these cities. Infrastructure is a good point. I actually forgot to do that. That's a really important thing. Alright, Napoleon can carry on. We are going to recruit some militia just to keep the population happy. Let's just get 3 of them. Keep the population happy for this turn. Can we make it here? We can. Ooh, fantastic. And we can bring artillery as well. Let's leave 1 line infantry behind. They're not happy. Oh, let's just try and demand some. Yeah, thank goodness. I have to fight that all over again. I am tempted to take that 4,000 and just build some militia garrison here. Yeah, we're going to do it. Because it doesn't cost us very much at all to do that. And then we can also build a theatre here to increase the happiness. Yes, good. But let's just end the turn here.
In Napoleon Total War, a turn is a 2-week period in order to simulate the intense...
Investment was worth it. This is interesting. British dropping troops in the area. That's fine, we've got more than enough to deal with that. And also, I think Desai can reach there. Okay, thanks Dan. Can't quite get there, that's annoying. But it doesn't really matter. I want this guy to get some sort of experience, so let's move him to this town. Oh, 40%, that's not great. 66%, that's much better. Perfect, he hopefully should get some experience soon. So we should be able to combat this British task force here, but I think we should this turn be able to go and take Damietta, which has an actual general, I think. The stars above. Problem is because we've looted this now. It's not good. Was it worth looting? Probably not. I would say, on hindsight, but it is a good injunction of cash, and we can recruit militia just to beef up the garrison here. Yeah, and that's going to come back in. So could also recruit another general to kind of stay here. Bezier may be good. He can stay here. Let's take Napoleon over first. Yeah, that's not going to go well, is it? Again, not a particularly hard battle. In fact, the Ottomans, I keep saying Ottomans, Mamluks don't even have artillery. Much more open this time. Better for our artillery. Though I don't think deploying them up here is going to be really what we need to be doing. It's only 3 units. Oh, for my goodness sake. I love the AI so much. Oh well, we can get this over and done with then, can't we? We've got our now very elite cavalry, so make sure our artillery are protected at all times. We're going to get this unit up front so you can make sure we get some good experience on them, and then we're going to keep our grenadiers back here. I want to make sure we are protecting our artillery at all times, including Napoleon himself. Let's just see how much damage we can do to this blob, since the Mamluks have decided to... Oh, come on. Oh my gosh. This is just stupid AI. Again, Dan's going to have absolutely no chance, but you can see the morale is definitely a lot better. That might have routed that entire army last time. You can see the morale is so much better already. Let's follow this Mamluk unit. See, just causing immense damage right now. We'll keep our guys further back a little bit. Don't be too aggressive with our forces. Yeah, we're easily going to take these guys out. Let's make sure we focus fire on their Mamluks. Yeah, you can see these infantry already basically not able to stand. Yeah, I was shaken that they did survive the volley. Dan could use them to push with a cavalry unit, which is kind of worrying. This will be interesting. Maybe we should have retreated there. Our men are now suffering quite a lot of casualties.
Glorious victory, sir.
Make sure we
is
kill
soon
this
to be
general.
yours.
Okay, so even if we got to get charged by those armed populace, then lost 20, we lost 19 men. Even Dan, in his masterfulness, I doubt is going to cause much more casualties than the AI did there, and that was with them charging us. Ottomans, Mamluk's greatest strength is their light cavalry, so as long as we keep our men, our cannons protected, it's a win.
You have captured a region containing an intellectual center,
Okay, we need to
enabling the research.
Okay, awesome. That's exactly what we wanted to do. So we have completed our first sort of objective in, turn 3 I think this is now. We've taken 4 cities in 3 turns. If we can do this, when we start with Dan, I don't see why we couldn't, by the way. I think it's perfectly reasonable. Let's see if this one rebels, actually, before we end this video. British have landed. Interesting.
Every army, fleet, or agent can reveal information about rival armies, navies, and settlements in their immediate proximity.
Okay, so actually it was worth it.
Available.
Let's move a lot of these troops back, and we should be able to be relatively safe. We've got to keep some here, haven't we, just to keep the peace. Let's keep our 2 line infantries there.
Occupying a port.
Okay, interesting. So we know that this is not going to rebel in 1 turn, so we can loot it. It may be advisable to loot everything then, but I don't think that was too risky, I think. British have landed with a 6-pounder. Dan only has 5 units to work with though, so I think we're pretty much okay. We can attack them as long as we have a decent enough army. No artillery though, so Dan will have the advantage of the artillery, but we have the cavalry advantage unless he's bringing 3 units of cavalry. I doubt that will be a very good army to bring anyway. Let's see if we can do that and then that. Yes, okay, so we can do that. Interesting. They're going to rebel next turn, but if we recruit militia here, then we should be okay. Okay, don't really need a replenishment there, so I'm going to switch that to a market. We're not going to be fighting down here. If we are fighting down here, then we've lost the campaign unless he swings a force down lands here, which then we'd lose this city anyway, so there's no point having a replenishment station there. I didn't see the British do this last time, so I'm glad it's not a full stack, that's all I can say. Mamluk armies are now starting to appear. Bedouin militia. We've got a bigger one here. It's coming to Cairo. But we're going to be playing against Dan, so let's remember that. So let's keep progressing towards the Ottomans. More Mamluk armies. Peasant levy. Let's bring the militia as well, because we're going to need all the help we can get. Okay, so these British troops, Sidney Smith, 2 artillery units, which isn't actually a good thing for Dan, and 2 foot battalions. You really want to have just 1 artillery maybe, because having 2 is fantastic if you have infantry to support it, which he doesn't. And it's given the AI an incredibly good chance against us. So let's just fight this one. We might not even deploy the artillery. Stupid AI. Oh, and the game crashed. Alright, well, the game crashed and whatever, but we can kind of see where we're going. The British land here, we fight the battle against the British, and hopefully we'll be fine. So what's our next moves from here? We kind of don't even need to sort of play it too much, otherwise we're going to ruin it for ourselves. But this is the opening moves we're going to go for. It's the opening moves that every player should be going for, to be honest with you. It gives us a fantastic starting base. Now, however, we've got to defend them. So that's the question. What could Dan have done? Well, he could have definitely built up some sort of recruiting base here, which I think he might do. He would have definitely poured money into Accra and Jerusalem, maybe Damascus as well, because of this musket manufactory there. And he's probably building a navy of some sort and sailing down here to deposit troops somewhere. He might even deposit them here, which would be an interesting strategy for him, because then I would never know that they're about to attack me. So if he deploys them straight away, actually no, he would definitely. So this is why this city is so exposed, because he can basically deploy them here, land them here, and attack in one turn, and this city's gone. So basically we're going to have troops in Alexandria and Damietta. It may even be advisable for us to completely leave Damietta undefended and just defend here instead, because then at least we can actually stop him at the bridge crossings. Same with this, but Alexandria we definitely do have to defend. This will be his key target, and he can definitely land troops at least on these beach areas, basically anywhere along here. That's going to be a concern. Normally we'd be able to pile all these troops and start going towards Cairo. But obviously the next 2 targets are Zagazig here and Cairo. If we take these 2, we then have the option. Do we then progress towards Dan, or do we send some forces down here to clean this up? That's where I think we're going to split forces at that point, just like Napoleon did. Historically, we're going to send Desay or who is it, Kellerman, maybe down here to take the Oasis and Beni Sarif. If we're lucky, we might even progress further south. I reckon these are quite rich provinces. This one probably not so much, but as we're here, we may as well take it. Red Sea coast. It's a little far out. There is a port here. What we might end up doing is, ooh, that's interesting. I've just had a thought of something Dan could possibly. There's a port. Here's a trading port. Like, oh, it doesn't matter if you just put it in a trading ship. If you're guessing what I'm thinking right now, you are a master strategist. Dan invests in Eliat out here. Builds a trade ship. Sails down here. Ooh, he could even take this Bedouin city here. That would be a bad idea, because I didn't know he was coming. Lands up here near Suez. Then he could do that in what, 3-4 turns? I'm in this position at that point. British can't harm him. I don't know if they were at war with the British, but if they are, the British can't harm him. Can he get round here? He can. And then he has troops in Suez before I'd even know about it. He doesn't have to take Suez, by the way. He can just march here, sit at Cairo, and I would have a lot of problems. He can even come up here to Zagazig and put pressure on my front line. That's a worry, isn't it? That's what I would do. I'm going to have to look on the Ottoman side of the campaign to see what's down here in Eliat. It might be that we're lucky and it's just, I don't have an example, just like one of these. Oh, you could still, yeah, you can still change the magistrate, can't you? Destroy this and build an encampment, which would take him 4 turns including that. By that point, I'm in this position. He trains troops, basic troops, taking about another 3 turns, and the ship will be ready by that point. 3 turns, so that's 7, 8. He's in position. Yeah, doesn't make once. That would be good in an ideal world. Maybe it'd be good to get troops in a position where I would have no idea they're there, or take Suez itself before I could. It's not a bad strategy, but I think 7 or 8 turns in, if he manages to land a force here, I'm in Cairo, I'm in Sagazig, we're going to have to take Suez then, aren't we? Because, or vice versa, we could sail around, take Eliat, couldn't we? And then technically we'd be behind him. That could be a good plan. So if he doesn't do it to me, I'll definitely do it to him. Because I'm thinking we'll sail down here, take Red Sea coast as well. So we can't sail down the Nile, that would be really, really useful. I'm also not sure if we take desert attrition. I imagine, oh, here we go. It does say this area is an area of attrition. This area is an area of attrition. So the whole thing is attrition. Wow, attrition. Okay, we're gonna march across here, take attrition. Everything is attrition. So Eliat here is relatively cut off. Oh no, there's a road. There's a road. Why would I suffer attrition? There's no road out to the Bedouin. We could take Eliat off his hands, which he'd be very mad about, but there's not a lot he could do. He'd have to spawn an army in Jerusalem and come down here, which would take him ages, and then we'd also just leave. He'd be completely out of position. So, you know what, this could be a good target here up here as well, like a Kia. Actually, all his cities are quite exposed. You know what I'm thinking? We get a war. So I've got 2 exposed cities. I've got here and here.
Agents cannot be recruited as a unit, might be.
Okay, Dan.
They are automatic.
Here's the plan, the new plan. We're sort of workshopping this. We distract the British fleet with a random ship. They get over there. French force here, come down. We'll attack whatever city is undefended. There's going to be one. He just has militia, and maybe up here he won't be building as much. It'll be more economics. I'm going to do some testing offline, by the way, to make sure this isn't a dumb move. We're going to land troops, destroy a city, loot it, whatever, raise the tax rate, I don't know. Then we'll move on to Tripoli. Then we'll move on to, we might even not take a general on this because it's so risky. Cyprus is out of the question. The British will have a massive army there, so there's no point us trying to do that. But we could do amphibious operations all the way along here, and that would allow us to get a lot of money quickly and also ruin his economy. He'd have ships though, wouldn't he? He'd definitely have ships because he'd be waiting for us to do that. So his furthest dockyard is this one. I'm not sure he's going to concentrate on building a dockyard here. Not going to be a list of his on top of his priorities. So we could just loot Gaza, loot Palestine. We could possibly loot Judea, Jerusalem, then run away. Because we can't hold them. There's no point trying to hold them against an Ottoman advance. We could gain a lot of money from that and distract him. So lots of options. But the main thing is securing these 4 cities and stopping any stupid Ottoman landing force that could be cobbled together to try and hit us really early on. And that's why I went 1, 2, 3, 4 instead of 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. So because we've got the army up here now, we can kind of figure out what we want to do with it. Alright, I'm going to leave out there, guys. It's been fun. This campaign is going to be a different experience to the Spain one. Spain was very much, I'm on the losing end of everything. Because the French did lose, and if I won any of those battles, I would have won the campaign. But this time, Dan does not have the 9-pounders. But he does have a lot of good melee combat infantry and a lot of good heavy cavalry, and both of those things we're going to be very much aware of. Take care, guys. I will see you in the Egyptian campaign very soon. I've got a feeling it's going to be either complete whitewash on either side, or it's going to be a back and forth battle for a very long time. We'll have to see how it goes. Alright, take care.